Welcome to Wildemount. The year is 835 PD, or post-divergence. This continent is divided by jagged terrain and political powers. Beyond the Sirios Mountains lies the massive region known as Winandir, bisected by the Ashkeeper Peaks. Western Winandir is home to the Dwendalian Empire, ruled by King Dwendal. Eastern Winandir houses the expansive waste and turbulent badlands of Shorehas, overrun with all manner of beasts and terrors, relics from the final battles of the Calamity, a ruin that scarred the landscape. Northward, you'll find the graying wildlands, a lawless realm harboring a curse that has kept it unclaimed by human hands. However, this story begins in the Menagerie Coast, a collection of city-states united under the Clovis Concord, thriving on open trade and cultural freedom. The Menagerie Coast is a lush, rain-swept, tropical region filled with scattered forest and jungles of rocky cliff seasides and beaches, overgrown islands, bustling trade routes that traverse the perilous seas. The coast is ruled by a nation comprised of 7 city-states whose cultural and political leaders have united to form the Clovis Concord. This land is known far and wide as a place for lively trade, vibrant art, performance, and excellent food, as well as the indulgence of vice, piracy, and illicit business. Our story starts in Nicodranas, the second largest and oldest port city of the Menagerie Coast. Here in this bustling port of trade, a festival is currently underway. Today is the Zenith, the first day of summer, and the long stretches of cobble roads are now packed with vendors, games, and all manner of distractions. The docks are full of ships of all makes and sizes, many of which are bearing the crest of the Dwendalian Empire. Even though war has recently broken out between the Empire and the Dynasty, spirits are high, and everyone feels safe knowing that conflict is far away from the shores of the Menagerie Coast, who are currently neutral in this war. Here in the Opal Archway district of Nicodranas, a temporary amphitheater has just finished being set up, and a troupe of performers are busy preparing props and outfits for a performance to come. A group of children run past the nearby chateau, laughing with delight carrying small candied apples. An elven woman stands just outside the Lavish Château, currently engaged in a rather heated discussion with a male human dressed in nobleman's clothes. Brian and Tiffany, could you please describe and introduce your characters?
My name is William Graff. I am a noble of the Graff family. I am a noble bard.
I am Mavelyn Leninar, a high elf.
Alright, so the two of you are currently outside the Lavish Chateau after waking up from your stay there the previous night after your current events. Mavelyn, you still feel sore in your abdomen. And William, your chest is still sore, although fully healed and ready to go. You're currently discussing what your plans are for today. Nissa has been adamant in having Mavelyn tag along with y'all as you go about your day for the festival. William, you feel not so much inclined to that idea.
Nissa, our business with this woman is over. We shouldn't be seen associating ourselves with someone like her.
How can you say that, William? Don't be so rude.
No,
I agree, William. Don't be so rude.
Practically invited yourself along this journey with us. I know nothing about you except that you were dumb enough to want to go along on this journey to try to save that man's chest. Knew nothing about him or his companions. We should have just minded our own business and we would have gotten here with no injuries to ourselves.
May I remind you, my lord, you're the one who extended a very kind hand to help me on my way. No one asked you to do so.
Couldn't see you go alone, but it wasn't a good idea.
So you left your kindness back behind?
I still don't think it's a good idea to let her hang around with us.
Don't talk like that, William. I, for one, have been enjoying Mavelyn's company, and I am fascinated to learn more about where you come from.
Why, thank you, Lady Nissa.
My pleasure. I mean, there's so much to see and do today.
I'm gonna pull Nissa to the side.
Okay.
And, Nissa, Listen, you have to keep in mind we have a family image to maintain here. We're representing our families right now, and we know nothing of this lady. She could be, she could be a bandit for all we know. She could be just trying to weasel her way into our circle just to gain power and steal from us. Who knows?
Yes, steal power from the Lady of Trostenwald, home to farmland and local taverns. Truly, William. She has planned this for who knows how long to infiltrate and take over our noble houseland.
You speak of Trostenwald like it's nothing.
Sometimes, William, I feel like it is nothing.
If you lost your mind, your family would be, astounded by that.
I don't know, William. I just don't know. And so, there's a moment of pause before, as y'all continue discussing, you see the local town guard called the Zelezo. They dress in not too finely crafted armor. You notice that the Crown's Guard of the Dwendalian Empire seem to have a better quality and more uniformity to their equipment. Looks a little more piecemealed, like it comes from different blacksmiths. And the most uniform part of their outfits and uniform are the blue leather work that they wear underneath their armor to signify that they are indeed Zelezos. The guards approach you, bypassing you completely, William, approaching Nissa, and they say, Lady Nissa. You see a little bit of apprehension on Nissa's face as she turns to face them. She goes, Yes, that's me. Can I help you? We come with an invitation from the Marquis. He has invited you, after hearing about your arrival in Nicodranas, he has invited you to his manor to attend. You see her dart back and forth between you before saying, Well, I'm honored at the invitation, but I have plans already with Lord William here. You see the guards turn to face you, and they say, Lord William of
Trostenwald.
Trostenwald. As they look back and forth between one another, one of the guards checks the list. Apologies, my lord, but I'm afraid you were not in the invitation of the local noble notoriety that we were aware of. I'm afraid I must insist, my lady. The Marquis is insistent on having all of the nobles attend for the festival. You see Nissa sigh, turning to you and saying, Sorry, William, I have to keep up appearances. If I were to shun the Marquis of Nicodranas, I wouldn't hear the end of it. Shouldn't be too long, I should be back soon.
All right, well, I'm sure I can find something to do around here while I wait.
She leans in close and she says, Please, bring Mavelin along and be nice, for me at least.
Very well. I'll bring her along.
Alright, thank you, William. I should be back as soon as I can. And with that, she walks off, being escorted by the town's guard with the Zelezo. Her nanny, Gertrude, follows along behind her, talking to her in Zimnian, a language that you're still unfamiliar with. Leaving you and Mavelin alone, awkwardly together.
And then there were two.
What do you elf people like to do? Like talk to trees and stuff?
No. What do lords like yourself like to do? Speak to sheep.
Speak to sheep. Servants would do that for me.
Alright, so as you continue discussing, William doing your best to avoid escalating it into a full-blown argument, something catches both of your eyes as interspersed amongst the crowd, towering above all of them, you see a massive Goliath, a rare sight in any civilized society as they mostly keep to the mountains. He stands awkwardly in the courtyard looking towards the amphitheater before staring up at the nearby surroundings. He seems lost and confused. Kyle, if you'd like to introduce your character.
Yes, my name is Vimac the Bear Killer, and I am a Goliath barbarian.
I'll approach him.
Alright,
Hello,
so
sir. Is there something that I can help you with? You seem to be lost.
Oh yes, I traveled here with a couple of people I met just a couple days ago, and they've parted ways, and now I really don't know uh, what I'm doing. I'm Vimac, by the way.
I'm Mavelyn. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Mavelyn. Not too many people just walk up to a man like myself, being a Goliath here in town.
Not many walk up to elves either.
Well, maybe that means that we can become friends. What are you here for?
I'm just on some travels. Happened to come with a couple of acquaintances myself. The
Really?
festival.
Oh, for the festival. Yes, I the festival kind of drew me here as well, not for necessarily the festivities, but I'm looking for work. You see, our tribe is in hardships, and I came looking for resources and maybe even finding a job to have some money for our tribe.
Well, I think that you might have some luck here.
Now, your acquaintances that you're with, are they still around, or have they deserted you as mine have as well?
One had some duties to attend to, and the other is tagging along. I could introduce you if you'd like.
Sure.
We'll make our way over to Lord Douche.
So as you make your way over, a man off in the crowd, Tommy, your character, caught wind and eye of this large, towering man. And as you were minding your own business, laying low, blending in with the crowd, you hear him discuss, you hear the words money and job opportunity pop up, and you, seeing the large, imposing size of this figure with the massive greatsword strapped to his back, you begin to think, this is the man I could probably meet up with. He could watch my back.
Okay. It's. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. It's Valmek, right? Anyway, I approach Valmek and ask him if Valmek, do you have any people in your party that could assist you in your travels?
It's just me and Mavelyn here that I've just met. I was here with a couple other people, but they've got a group that they've run off with to take care of some other things. What is your name again?
My name is Finny, and everybody addresses me as just Finn, and I bow politely.
Finn, it is good to meet you. No need to bow.
Well, man of your stature requires a little respect.
Well, thank you. Now, what kind of business are you in?
Oh, a little bit of everything here and there. Running of assorted goods. So a little bit of everything. I'm always open for new opportunities of employment. And of course, gold pieces to line my pouch.
Well, I have to say I'm also up for anything that can maybe potentially take care of my family back home and our tribe. So,
Oh, wonderful. Well, would you mind if I came along?
I would not. Mavelyn, would you mind?
Oh, not at all.
Oh, wonderful. Nice to meet you, Mavelyn.
Nice to meet you as well.
Alright, so the three of you gather and approach, as Mavelyn so lovingly put, Lord Douche. Heading your way back towards the beautiful Lavish Château. You see that in the background, the troupe is still getting set up. There's still a ways to go before they're ready for their performance. Come one, come all! Put your skills to the test. Have you got what it takes to show your might of Cord, the god of lightning? And you see a man flamboyantly waving his hands, gesturing to what looks to be a large upward trough with a puck-shaped device towards the bottom, and you see him gesturing, and you watch a dwarf step up. I'll take a shot. He says, wonderful, wonderful, my good man. 1 silver to win 5 gold. 5 gold, 1 silver. You have plenty of strength. This should be easy. The dwarf takes the hammer, raises it up, slams it. The puck goes up a pretty good ways. Not all the way, though, before sliding back down. Good try, good sir, good try. Maybe next time. Anybody else? Would anybody else like to give it a chance? Give it a shot. 1 silver for 5 gold.
I'll give it a try.
Alright. So he sees you approach. My goodness, you're a tall lad. This should be easy for you. 1 silver, sir. 1 silver for 1 try.
I take the small hammer. I raise it up and I come thundering down and give it a mighty whack.
Alright, let me have you make a strength or an athletics check. 16, alright. So, as you come down with the hammer, slamming into it, you send the puck flying all the way into the bell, smashing into it, leaving a dent in the metal as the man goes. Well, should have saw that, should have expected that. Mighty man indeed, mighty man indeed. 5 gold, so you gave him the 1 silver and he gives you the 5 gold.
I gotcha.
He starts looking at the bell a little awkwardly after you left a little dent in it.
Can I do a perception check on the whole bell system?
Sure.
Oh my god.
What are you wanting to see specifically on the bell system? Just like how it works?
No, I want to see if there's any like noticeable gimmicks to it. Like if it's
gotcha.
yeah.
I see.
All right, so you give it a once over. I mean, it's a pretty simple device meant to be built and disassembled pretty quick for these kind of festivals. You do notice that towards the top, the incline starts to get very steep, almost perfectly vertical. So you see that it's a little rigged. Someone like Vimac of his size and strength can do it, but most people are gonna have a very hard time to actually hit the bell with how steep they have it cut and designed towards the top.
I'm gonna approach the man.
All right.
I'm gonna kind of pull him to the side and I'm gonna say, so I noticed your little activity here seems to be just a little bit rigged.
Okay.
Oh, quite the artisan you are, my lord. Well, I apologize if you think that our device is not set up to your standards, but, well, easy come with the device building. I didn't build it, I just run the show. Would you be interested in maybe trying your shot?
Oh no, I like to only make deals with money when it has a good outcome for me. The odds are in my favor. It'd be a shame if more people around here were to learn of the rigging of this here device.
I'm gonna lean in and whisper, "Behave, Lord William, please."
Let me have you make an
It's all in
intimidation.
good fun.
Let me have you make an intimidation check.
Here we go.
Jeez. You see him begin to nervously sweat as you start mentioning the prospect of spilling the secret of the device, and he says, even with whispering, my lord, maybe if you were to not mention that to anyone, I could persuade you in the sum of 5 gold to look the other way.
Yeah, that sounds like a good enough deal for me.
He slips you 5 gold and he says, perfect. Have a great day, my lord. Praise be to you and your family. 1 silver, test your strength. Prove that you've got the strength of Kor, the Thunder God. 1 silver for 1 swing. Quickly trying to ignore you, and hopefully you'll walk off and lose interest.
And I'm gonna look at the group, and I'm just gonna kind of point to my head and give a little wink and see guys, brain, not brawn.
I laugh and say, well, some of us just have a little bit more bronze.
And it's at this
Very well.
So it's at this moment you see a figure dressed in cleric garb passing out little leaflets. Wingman, you're currently making your way down the opal archway, passing out leaflets to Paylor, to the local temple. Would you like to introduce and describe your character as you make your way towards them, seeing a group standing nearby.
Let's see. I am Marcus Mott. I am about a mid-level cleric in the local temple. Very humble, and my specialty is medicine.
So you see 4 nearby people of very different builds, very different backgrounds, and you find it quite interesting in seeing an opportunity to come and spread the word of your nearby temple to reach some unfamiliar ears.
I will approach the group, look up, and say, "My, what a diverse group we have here." My name is Marcus Mott. I'm with the local Pelor Temple. Here, please take one of these leaflets. Come visit us one day.
You hear calling out in the distance, further away from the amphitheater. You hear the drinking contest will begin. Here shortly, last-minute sign-ups are available. Drink to your heart's content. Winner gets an all-you-can-drink pass to Hupperduke.
I look around everybody and say, if the drinks here are as weak as the ones I had at the last tavern, I should win this pretty easy.
From what I've been told, the drinks are about, midway. They're not the strongest, from what I've been told. But of course, that's just hearsay.
I look at Marcus and say, well, then I believe I'm in for this.
All right, so the 2 of you, anybody else want to join them before they head over?
Sure. I'll go.
All right, so
I'm gonna sit this one out.
All right.
Yep.
So Mavelyn and William don't necessarily go to sign up, sit by. Or Mavelyn, what do you want to do?
I was just gonna say, well, I'll go watch.
Okay. So you all make your way over towards the tables that they have set up. They're setting down some drinks. Mavelyn and William, you notice a very familiar dwarf with a fiery red beard, already set down, a huge smile on his face, drinking before the contest even begins, and he says, my lord, my lady, good to see you again. Hope you're feeling much better than when I left you.
A good rest did us fine, Dreg. Nice to see you.
It's great to hear, great to hear.
It'll take more than an arrow to the chest to keep me down.
I kept you down pretty well, I thought. Thankfully that gnome came in and healed you up. But can you believe they give away free drinks? You get to drink all you want. Alright, so the contestants who do want to participate, take your seats as a couple of other people make their way over. The event organizer sets down a tankard in front of all of you, fills you up with your ale. Rules are simple. You drink your tankard, we refill it, you keep on drinking until you pass out, upchuck, or give up. Last man or woman standing takes the win. Contestants, ready your tankards, and begin! Alright, so let me have everyone who is participating, I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
It'd be funny if you made them all roll for initiative and you gotta like
roll
fight.
initiative. Okay, let me see here. Tommy's and Kyle's. Wingman, are you participating?
No.
Okay. So, the 3 of you, Dreg, Vimac, and Finian, you knock back your tankards of ale, slam it down. Vimac, you feel a little rumble in your stomach, but you push through it. As immediately, tankards are refilled, and you go again. Let me have you make another Constitution saving throw.
Oh, natural 20. Nice.
Finian, your stomach begins to gurgle, and you have to choke down that second tankard. For some reason, that one hits you a little rough, but you're hanging in there. Vimac, after stealing yourself and getting ready, it's not the best tasting stuff you've had. Certainly not like that goat spirits that you have at home. And a surge of adrenaline rushes through you, and you chug your tankard instantly. Dreg, he follows suit. A couple of driblets of ale slide down his huge beard. And he looks at you and goes, "That all you got, Goliath?" As they refill the tankard, let me have you all make another Constitution saving throw.
Oh, gee.
Oh no.
Finian, as you go to take that third one, you start to realize that you may have made a mistake in going up against a hardy dwarf and a giant Goliath. As you chug that third one, normally you could handle 3 ales, no problem, but the back-to-back-to-back quickly overwhelms you, and you cough it back up before you can even choke it down. Sorry, sir, you're eliminated. Gonna have to ask you to step aside as we continue forward. And now you realize it's Vimac. Did I not roll? Oh, I didn't roll. I have to roll for drag here. There we go. Alright, Vimac, Drag, and 2 other contestants are still standing as you get your second or your 4th tankard now, and you rob it back. Let me have you make another Constitution saving throw. Drag downs it, slams it again, glaring at you now, Vimac, before up chucks his ale and just starts laughing, saying, Good show, Goliath. I could drink with you anytime. Well fought." And he steps aside. There's one human male standing as you get another tankard. Even though you've been fighting through it, this is starting to feel pretty rough. You realize you probably don't have a whole lot left in you, so let me have you make another Constitution saving throw. You chug down your last one, slam it down. You feel everything go dizzy for a moment. You feel the urge to vomit, but you just barely resist it. There's a little bit of spittle that comes out, but you fight and manage to keep it down. The other guy finally passes out, collapses onto the ground. We have our winner! Big man, congratulations! And he slides you a piece of parchment that says, all you can drink for one night at any Hupperduke Tavern, valid for basically the next year. Well done. A round of applause for our winner. You see some, some of the nearby tavern, or some of the nearby observants clap for you, congratulating you on your hard-fought victory. But you are now slightly intoxicated. May have repercussions depending on what you roll. So just be aware of that. You're feeling a little bit of the effects of all that ale.
No.
Can I chew on some of my herbal?
If you want to.
No.
Right, you won't? Okay. So as that you step away, and then as you do, you see a half-orc jump up onto the grandstand wearing a billowing, flowing cape as he shouts out to the crowd, trying to speak out amongst the crowd. Come one, come all, the show begins! The legend of the Abyss Watcher. William, Mavelin, you recognize Gorvek as he's calling out amongst the crowd. The troupe seems to be gathering and preparing for the stage performance. So what do y'all do? Would y'all like to attend?
Yeah, I'd like to attend.
Okay. So your group begins making their way over to the amphitheater. You notice a large, very, very large crowd now as it begins to pack your way in. Some of you have to push your way forward with Vimac, though walking in behind you, some people make a lot of room for him, giving him all the space he needs, and you manage to find a good row, good seat.
Yeah, nobody wants to mess with him.
So as you reach the amphitheater, you see Gorvek again standing on top of the grandstand, calling out as everybody begins to approach. You see a familiar human woman step out on an upraised platform. She takes her position. You remember this is the woman who sung that uplifting song as you made your way back from the forest after your terrible encounter with those bandits. Let me all tell you a story, one that many know and many more fear. This is the legend of the Abyss Watcher. And behind him you see the amphitheater has been set up, and it looks like a large, vast ocean with a dark and stormy, oil-painted canvas above. The woman begins to sing, begin to chant in a low, melodic tone. And as she does, you see what look like to be most of the sailor folk look on in a reverent manner, as they seem to watch very closely rather than in a more entertaining value as most of the people do. In the background, off scene, oops, a little loud. Behind there you hear some instruments begin to play. Many sailors know the dark legend of the Abyss Watcher, birthed in the darkest depths at the lowest part of the ocean. Many claim this was the final offspring of the primordials in the depths of the ocean. At least that's what they claim. That young offspring grew and became a massive beast whose size and ferocity made even a kraken quake in fear. They say, in the times just before the calamity tore the world apart, the Abyss Watcher was king of the oceans, for what man could hope to slay such a monstrosity? As he begins to speak, you see a slew of performers rush on stage. Behind them, streamers flowing, waving as if ocean waves themselves. They begin to dance in slow, well-rehearsed motions. You see an ocean take form with those streamers. Dark, perilous. You see ships appear on the painted canvas, and you see a large serpent-like silhouette appear in the streamers, wrapping and constricting around the vessels, destroying them, tearing them apart. People look on, the music, the voice of the woman, drawing their focus in, and you find it's difficult to look away. Tales passed down from sailor to sailor for thousands of years mention how even the mightiest vessels, crafted during the Age of Arcanum, were decimated by this terror. You see a massive gavel with large ballistas appear, the serpent towering against even such a massive craft, the largest boat you could have ever imagined, crushed, torn apart. You see the streamers flash to red, imitating blood as the ocean grows red. Even though this creature is mentioned in the ancient text in the Cobalt Reserve, no one really knows what this Abyss Watcher was. Was it a kraken, a leviathan, or even a shark? Perhaps it was something that we can't even imagine, something yet discovered. The colored streamers, red and blue, change. They now grow black, dark, like a void, an abyss. It's endless, and within that abyss you see two yellow eyes appear with a howling growl appearing behind where the instrumentation is. The singer reaches a crescendo and the dancing seems to increase faster and faster. Thankfully for us, this creature vanished during the calamity, though whispers of the Abyss Watcher still persist to this very day, and not a sailor will dare speak its name while on the ocean, for none to this day have seen the Abyss Watcher and lived to tell the tale. Though some say, during the typhoon, one can see the eyes of the Abyss Watcher itself, watching and hunting, lurking for ships that have drawn adrift on the ocean sea and ripe for the taking. The crescendo slows. The shimmering waves of black and yellow begin to shake even more violently before. Flash! White, clear skies, the oil canvas is cleared. He says, "Fear not, for today we mark the beginning of summer and the end of the typhoon seasons. Today we celebrate the beginning of the calm seas and clear skies. Today we celebrate the Zenith! Huzzah!" And with that you hear everyone cheer and applaud. The actors all take a step forward and bow. And you see the sailors quickly rush forward as Gorvek jumps down with an offering hat out. They are tipping him very generously. As the performance comes to an end, you see the band appear now on stage playing a much more lively tune, and everyone goes back, attending to the mini events.
Kind of chuckle at the group, and I'm going to say, it was quite the performance, but it's a little hard to believe when they say that nobody's lived to tell the tale, yet they have a tale.
That's true. I didn't think about that. So, what's around this area besides the stage?
So you see,
What else is around?
you see a lot of market vendors that are selling, finger foods, that kind of thing, stuff you'd see at most festivals or, carnivals. In the nearby area, you see a tavern. You see a woman making her way out of the tavern at the moment, but there's also a lot of activities of various types around. You see people, like you saw with the hawkers, they're yelling out and shouting for the various games you can play.
Okay. What kind of games are there?
So you see a man at a table section set up. It seems like there's a card game going on. You see there's an arm wrestling section set up, and there's also a large upraised section filled with water and a log, and it seems to be a man standing on top of the log running it back and forth.
All right, I'm gonna go walk over to that guy.
All right. So you make your way over.
Piece of him.
Yeah. So you make your way over, and he says, "Pleasure to you, sir. Top of the morning to you. Can I interest you in a contest of acrobatic skill?"
Oh, of course. I'm always up for a contest of acrobatic skill.
1 silver for one try. Win and get 5 gold.
Okay. I guess I give him a silver. I don't have any silver. I just have gold.
Yeah, so how I do this is
Yeah.
10 copper is 1 silver. 10 silver is 1 gold. And I let you magically break down currency. So if you want to take one of your golds, break it down into 10 silver, you don't have to go to a bank for that. You can just automatically do that.
Hand the man 1 silver.
Oh, okay. Anyone else? Would anyone else like to try their hand before we begin?
I'll give it a go.
Step right up, miss. Step right
I'm
up,
afraid I
miss.
pursued the log.
What was
And
that?
I hand him a silver.
I sink the lock. Alright, he takes the silver. Thank you very much. Step right up. Anyone else before we begin? Last call. And with that, he helps the two of you get up on the log, and then he jumps on. He says, "Rules are simple. Stay on your feet, don't splash your butt, and last one standing wins." And with that, he starts kicking forward the log, and the pace begins to pick up, and you find yourself struggling to keep on already as it begins. Let me have the two of you make an acrobatics check.
Ooh, Johnny.
Alright, Mavelyn, as soon as it begins, you manage to stay on for a little bit before your foot slips and you fall backwards right into the water. Thankfully, the water cushions your fall and it doesn't hurt or anything.
Darn.
1 down, 1 standing. And then as he goes to say that, he falls straight into the water. He gets back up and he says, "Lucky day, sir, lucky day. Don't usually fall over that fast, but a win's a win. Here you go, sir, 5 gold." He steps out of the water with a shattered ego and he stalks off to go dry off. So as he goes to do that,
I look at the group and say, I need to find some kind of food stand to
Food. Mm-hmm.
start soaking up
Food.
some of this ale.
funny enough,
I imagine that's a good idea.
Funny enough, as soon as you go to mention that, the woman who stepped out of the tavern goes, "Happy hour of the Zenith Festival, happy hour. All meals and drinks are half off currently for the next hour. Come on in."
Nice.
I look at the group and say, let's go to the tavern.
Yeah, that's good to me.
Alright, so you all make your way into the tavern. The Leaky Lizard, and as you enter, you see that it is a finer tavern establishment compared to what most of you are used to. William, you find that even this one seems to meet your high standards. There's a nice, fragrant air rather than the stale ale and wood-soaked smell most taverns have. There's various types of attendants currently, and patrons of the bar, but you do even manage to see a couple of lower nobles. They seem to be dressed in their noble garb. The tavern is bustling, full of people, as one would expect on such a festival day. Towards one corner of the bar, you see a large group of Zalezos and one halfling female of a very stout build. She's currently sitting and eating with her fellow guardsmen, and she seems to have a couple of knotted ropes across her sash, indicating that she's of a higher rank. And Finian, you would know this as you've grown up around the Menagerie Coast. She's a captain, which is a pretty high rank for most Zalezos. And as
Okay.
you all enter, you are bustled over to a nearby table as she quickly cleans it and clears it off. How can I help you today? Can I get you something to eat, something to drink? Let me know.
What's on the menu?
Well, we've got some excellent seafood, which is, of course, what Nicodranas is known for. We have crab legs, white fish, we have fresh catch of the day stew.
I'd like one of each.
My, big
I
appetite.
believe I would take the soup.
One soup, one of everything, and she goes and takes down orders.
I'll take a tankard of ale.
And a Tinkered Ale. Alright, should I just bring one round for everyone?
I'll pass. I'd like a water.
Oh, very
I'm
well,
gonna,
sir. One for you.
I'm gonna specifically ask for a goblet of wine instead.
One wine for you, my lord. Very well. We'll bring you some of our best.
So, okay, so she's the waitress. Is there a barkeep at the bar?
There is a barkeep at the bar. Yeah, there is a bar. It is absolutely packed. That's why she shuffled you over to a table, but you can approach the bar if you'd like to.
Okay, so there's way too many people. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very bustling tavern right now with the festival going on. A lot
Gotcha.
of people coming in and coming out.
How close are we to the guards?
You're fairly close. So you're probably like 2 tables down. Not close enough to where you can hear what they're talking about, especially over the din of the crowd.
Yeah.
But they're in within visual range, and they all seem to be either off duty or
Fairly
taking a
occupied.
break. Yeah,
Okay.
talking amongst themselves,
Okay.
eating and drinking, relaxing. Probably stressed with having to deal with the huge influx of visitors and people for the festival. But
Can I do a perception check?
sure, go ahead, make a perception. What are you wanting to perceive? Just the general lay of the room?
I want to scan the room for anyone who looks suspicious of any kind. Like if they look
Okay.
like they're gonna try to like start something, you know,
Yeah, go ahead and
maybe
make a
someone who's had too much alcohol or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah, so you scan the room looking for any sort of trouble, and you see that there's a couple of people that may have had one too many drinks, but as this is a finer establishment, no one seems threatening or imposing. You don't see any of the salty sailor types that would cause trouble or any miscreants. It looks like a nicer establishment, so the quality of people here seems to be more well-mannered.
While we're waiting on our food, I start talking to the group and I say, "So, what is everybody really here for? Is the plan to stay or to find work? Or
Well, actually, I was here to visit. But ultimately, find work is ideal.
I understand I'm passing through, but if I could find something here, it would be nice to not have to travel much farther."
I'm just here doing Pelor's work and being ever vigilant for evil and trying to help who I can.
Marcus, being from around here, do you know of any places that are hiring or people that could use the service of a Goliath like myself?
I can't really say. As to tell you the truth, I only arrived here about a month ago to help with the festival.
So where did you come from?
Come on, guys, I didn't have that much time to do my background.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I
Yeah,
didn't think about that.
we made his character like either
Like
today or
last
yesterday.
night.
Yeah, so
Oh,
he doesn't
you're
have
good, you're good.
he's not set up on backstory yet, unfortunately. That
You're
schedule
good.
change really
Finn?
threw him off.
Give me a second.
Oh, you're good, wingman. I look at Finn and I say, "Finn, you say you were here visiting. Who are you visiting?"
But just visiting in general.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually had to step away from Port de Mali for a brief time. Probably forever.
Port de Mali. That was another place that Adeline, a lady minister that I ran into on my journey here, mentioned as a place to work. Is it worth checking out?
Oh yeah. And place has got a little bit of everything, as well as a fair share of guards.
All right.
Mighty strange, interesting guards you have.
The servant woman comes back, gives you your food, your drinks, gets you situated before she has to quickly bustle off. The total for your meals and drink comes out to 7 copper.
Fairly good.
So y'all can
That's
just mark that down.
Yeah,
right here.
that's a fairly good price.
Yeah, adventurers get paid mad money, so so just mark that amount on your sheet. Now, William, you've been keeping an eye out on things, and when you were scanning the room, you didn't really notice anything, but as you are getting your meals and getting situated, talking amongst yourselves, you saw just out of the corner of your eye, darting past the open doorway, a figure, and you just barely managed to catch it. It looks elven in nature, but a very dark, almost purplish skin tone. And just as quick as it catches in the corner of your eye, it's gone.
Oh. Which direction did this guy go?
Now, your character does not see it, but it came in, basically running, but just to explain in better detail, it came through, and it looks like it just ran across the doorway, so it didn't come inward, just out of vicinity in the open archways, and it seems like no one else really noticed it. It seems like just you, William, managed to catch it.
Okay, so I seen someone who looked kind of elven, like an elf.
Yeah, very
And,
elven in features, much like Maveland, although the skin color is, again, like a bluish hue, purplish almost.
At this point, have we finished our meals?
If y'all want to, yeah, y'all finished your meals. Your plates get cleared, your tankards get refilled if you want more. If not, they just are left where they are.
I say, excuse me, something I want to check out real quick, and I'm going to stand up and I'm going to walk up toward the elf, or what I think is an elf.
Yeah, so you get up, and as you do, you stand up, you see a figure dashing in to the bar of the tavern. And as you do, he brushes past you, rushing towards the captain guard. Captain Versi! Captain Versi! The halfling female, stout in build, turns and looks at him. What is it, Sergeant? I'm on break. Captain Versi! He leans in, trying to whisper, although in his ragged breath he isn't too subtle about it. He goes, Captain Versi, I've received reports. The Marquis have been under attack. And then as soon as she hears that, she shoots back and stands up to his feet. The Marquis? And then the tavern stops cold turkey, turns, faces her. She looks around for a moment, but she immediately just writes it off, and she goes, all right, we have to put do we know who the attacker is? No, ma'am. No one's seen him. We just, we got reports of the Marquis under attack. Relayed back to me, and I'm on my way over as soon as possible. We're not sure who the assailants are, but they are attacking the manor. We're worried they might be attacking some of the other high-ranking noble figures. There's plenty of them around today. We even have a lot of noble visitors from the Dwendalian Empire. All right. Oh, crap. We're gonna have to put the whole city in lockdown. We can't afford it. There's too much going on right now. It's easy to blend in. Captain, there's another problem. What do you mean, Sergeant? Lake Ross is under attack as well. We have reports that it's a goblin attack. Captain looks down for a moment. She's like, starts looking around the room, spots the group of you, and begins to make her way over. She goes, well, I reckon you just heard that. Are you able-bodied?
Yes.
She looks
Yes,
at
ma'am.
some of you that are armed with your weapons. She goes, can you fight?
If needed be.
All right, I have to organize the event. The Marquis comes first, and the nobles. I don't have the manpower to lock the city down and go to the lake, but those people are going to need reinforcements. I didn't leave a large detachment there to hold off that kind of an assault. If you're willing, I'll give you 30 gold a head, 50 for any leaders, and 100 for any information that you can gather.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sergeant! She motions over. The sergeant rushes over. Take these people to the Lake Rasa. You reinforce the garrison and take command, and have them assist you however they can. She turns back to you. Thank you. I really mean that. I have to go now. Follow the sergeant. He'll get you where you need to go. And with that, she immediately bolts off. The rest of the Zalezo guards that were there, they get up and they follow after him. The sergeant turns to you, gives a quick, shallow bow. Sergeant Miles is my name.
I am Marcus of the Pelor Temple.
Are we heading to the Marquis right now?
You wouldn't be heading to the Marquis. She's asked you to go to Lake Rasa, which on the map is outside of the city of Nicodranas.
Then I'm gonna, like, as a character, I'm gonna protest. I'm gonna say, you have to head to the Marquis, and I'm gonna look over at Maveland, They're like, listen, Nissa's there. We have to save her. Please, I'm begging you, help me.
I'm sure Nissa's perfectly safe where she's at. I think that we're needed elsewhere.
The sergeant.
I'm gonna look at the group then. I'm really like, literally double the offer. Have to go to the marquee though.
Okay, may Finn doesn't know Nissa. Who is? I'm gonna ask William. William, who is Nissa?
She's the one I am betrothed to. She's my childhood friend. She means the world to me.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the sergeant, hearing you, goes, listen, we need your help. If we don't reinforce the garrison at Lake Rasa, I don't know how many people will get killed. There's too many tourists there for us to protect on our own. We've got the entire garrison is going to be focused on protecting the Marquis and his manor. If she's there, she's going to be safe. That's going to be the safest place in the city, even if it is getting attacked. That's the whole reason we need your help, is we're sending all of the garrison to the Marquis and the nobles.
Very well then. I'll do what I can.
He gives you a very deep bow. He's like, thank you. I know that has to be a hard choice. I know it sounds like one of the noble visitors is your friend, but I promise you, I swear it. She's in good hands. The captain is one of the best fighters I know. She'll rally the garrison and she'll protect anyone who's there at the manor, I promise you.
Before we proceed, do you have our 30 gold?
The captain will see to it that you get paid, and we can't pay you until we know how many you deal with.
Captain said 30 up front.
30 ahead is what she said. 50 for leaders and 100 for information.
Oh, 30. Okay, I thought you meant
Yeah.
like.
She said, meaning
30,
like
like
30
before.
per, 30 per kill.
Okay.
50 for a
okay.
leader
Wow.
kill. Yeah, 30 for a leader kill, and then 100 for any information that you might get.
I thought you meant like ahead of like before going there.
Right.
My bad.
No, that's my bad. All right, if you're
Oh,
ready,
kill some people.
follow me. It shouldn't take us too long to get out of the city limits. Stay there. So you rush out of the tavern, and as soon as you do, the environment has changed completely. Everyone in the opal archways is now stopped. The music is gone. You see the troop gone. They've abandoned the area. Several of the people are flooding indoors, getting away from the city streets. You hear cries and shouts off in the distance, but currently where you are, you don't see anything too out of the ordinary. You see that the atmosphere has changed. Everyone's on edge. You see several Zalezo guards that are left behind to escort people. Everyone off the streets! Get indoors! We're going on a lockdown! They're trying to fight the crowd. The sergeant turns to you. Follow me this way. We'll bypass the crowd. We'll take the dockway.
Hey Chris, real fast,
Yeah, go ahead.
can I ask, did my food help kind of get me back from being inebriated? Or am I still-
Yeah. You were never
Okay.
drunk. It was more like a buzz kind of thing. But yeah,
Okay.
after you ate, and it's taken probably 45 minutes to get your food, get situated, all that stuff. So yeah, you're not gonna have to worry about being affected.
Okay, good deal.
So the sergeant takes you past. You're dashing forward down the docks, and on your right, where the docks are off in the water, you see several of the ships, previously pristine condition, suddenly are now engulfed in flames. Let me have y'all make perception checks as you're darting across the crowds. All right,
But I said, ooh.
Way to go, wingman.
So Finian and Mavelin, you notice under quick inspection, especially you, Finian, having grown up around the Menagerie Coast, around the ports of Port Damali, you recognize that the ships that are being attacked and engulfed in flames, though you couldn't see any assailants, you see that it's mostly the ones with the Dwendalian Empire crest on them. You see a lot of the trade ports and even the military craft of the Menagerie Coast are currently left alone and unharmed. Mavelin, you're seeing this and you dart, and as you look up into the rooftops, you see a quick blur. It's just a very short, brief period of time where you see a figure drabbed in black, although you see a couple of facial details, elven in nature and of a darker skin tone, almost bluish to purple in hue. And it's odd at first, and then you realize that looked like a drow elf from the Kryn dynasty, as you have baked that memory of what they look like into your mind for reasons that you know of your past. Though as quickly as you saw it, it was gone. So as you take that in, the sergeant's like, this way, we'll head out the city gates and we'll be there in no time. With that, he rushes you out of the city, out past the gate, towards Lake Rasa. So as you approach Raska Lake, immediately it looks like a war zone. Pandemonium has broken out. The large lakeside area You see bodies littering the ground. You see humans, elves, dwarves, halflings. Many people are lying dead on the ground. You see several bodies of Zalezo guards down on the ground as well, and also fallen goblin bodies. It looks like an absolute war zone. You brush your way past the palm trees, getting out into the opening of the lake. You see on the left side a contingent of Zalezo guards. Look like they're making their final stand against this goblin horde. Off in the distance on the left, you see a group of goblins corralling humans and civilians into a corner. On the right side, you see more citizens trying to make their way out towards the guards, but they're blocked off between two groups of goblins. Further in the back, you see a large towering monstrosity behind the goblin horde. It shouts out, "Finian, since you speak goblin, you understand him." And you hear him say, "Kill the rest! Get those newcomers as well, then double back. We need to get out of here before more reinforcements show up." And with that, you see two goblins and this large creature that seems to be in command grab several of the people and haul them off into the jungle forest. And they fade from view, vanishing into the jungle behind. The sergeant, running past you, says, "Alright, here's my plan. I'll take command of the Zalezo guards on the left flank. You reinforce the right flank and get to those civilians." With that, he darts off to take command. And I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative.
I don't know that I've ever rolled a high initiative in any battle.
Oh, you rolled a 19. You rolled a 19 on your session 0.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The battle that nobody else got to see.
Yeah.
he actually got the Frodo. He got the Frodo with Mr. Bean face in there. That's great.
All right, so top of the round, we've got the goblins. They're currently busy attacking a Zalezo guard and a couple of civilians who have grabbed some nearby weapons. And let's see here, do some off-screen rolls. He takes a stab to his leg, but he manages to push back. Taking his spear, he thrusts it forward, piercing the head of one of the goblins, killing it instantly. And the other civilians manage to fight back and keep from getting taken down. The goblins...
Man, that was our head right there.
I know. It's like you never thought you'd be rooting against the good guys. The goblins in the back, they're going to hear a command from a particular goblin wearing actual metal armor rather than the piecemeal scraps of leather and cloth. He points and shouts as a command. The 4 goblins here are going to take crossbows and they're going to shoot at the civilians ahead as they're trying to get away. Oh my gosh, 2 natural 20s.
Man, crossbows in this game are hardcore, man.
They are. Alright, 2 of the crossbows pierce into one of the civilians trying to run away, one through the back and one straight through the neck, and you see her fall, collapsing to the ground dead immediately. One hits one of the other fleeing civilians, catching her in the leg. She stumbles over but manages to get back up. The other crossbows into the ground, thankfully missing the rest of the civilians as they push forward. You see Sergeant Miles appear behind. "Alright, men, we're pushing forward and we're getting these civilians out of here. Form up, shield wall, forward." You see them, what they were once frantically fighting, barely holding on into some form of formation. You see them regroup, rearm, and push forward, managing to take out 2 of the goblins as they advance in a single column file, thrusting their spears forward. The other 2 goblins manage to bounce out of the way.
I'm going to move just a bit, and then can I use Ray of Frost on this guy?
You come forward as you aim at one of the nearby goblins. You channel with your arcane magic that you've been blessed with, and your hand glows blue for a moment, and you see a single ice shard form around your fingertip, and you loose it forward. The ice shard shoots forward, impacting the goblin, doing 3 damage. And you see ice form around where the impact point is. As it turns and looks and seeing the group of you appear, he goes, "Yak!" And Finian, you translate that as to behind us.
Damn it. Okay, so this guy is aware.
Yeah. It takes hit. So that group and the other group in the back is definitely gonna see you. But they were busy with the guards, but they notice you now. Oh no, we might have lost Wingman. I'll go ahead and roll a crossbow bolt for him while he's getting set back up. Oh, it's a good thing I rolled natural 20.
Holy cow.
Nice.
So you see Marcus move forward, getting into range, drawing out his crossbow. He says, "Take this, you filthy heathens!" Fires the crossbow bolt, aiming at the one across from the Zalezo guard that seems to be contesting him the most, and the crossbow bolt pierces the back of the goblin's head. You hear go, yeah! Before falling over dead. Finian, you're on deck. Okay, you will get sneak attack on that because he is in contested.
Testing 1, 2, testing.
Alright, we hear you,
Okay,
wingman.
I'm back.
Okay, so you rush in behind the goblin busy with his Lezo guard, even though he saw y'all coming from behind, and you rush forward with your rapier, and he goes to raise his arm to try to block the attack, but the frost that's already encrusted around his body slows his movement, and the rapier stabs through its chest as it collapses over, doubling over on your blade, dying as it exhales its final breath. Thanks for the assist. Private Drake is the name. I'll assist you as we keep pushing on the right. We gotta get the rest of these townsfolk out of here. After you do that, and he says his name, you dash off. He goes, okay then, and he watches you run off and take cover behind the trees. And now, William, it's your turn.
Up here behind this guard. I'm going to cast Charm Person on this goblin.
On the goblin? Okay. You rush over to the left, and you whisper out to the goblin and cast your arcane magic that you've learned to manipulate for your own ends. And the goblin looks at you for a moment, and it starts muttering under its breath as it shakes its head. It feels odd before it looks at you like seeing an old friend it hasn't seen in a long time, and it smiles warmly at you.
Okay, I'm gonna start, like, for my next turn, I'm basically gonna be prepared to, like, run towards Evelyn with him.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna try to, like, motion to the others to, like, not attack him.
So the goblin watches, smiling at you as you run over and you grab it by the hand, and it graciously takes your hand, and it seems excited. It's wondering where you're going. And then Sergeant Miles, he's very confused as he sees you run over and do that, and he says, all right, man, hold off on that one. Let's focus on the others. We'll get to those civilians. Let him do whatever he's doing.
And I want to go into a rage.
Rage?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
He said rage.
You gotta make some
And-
hope noises as you do that.
Like that.
Yep.
Then I'm going to use my javelin, because this is all about the money too. And I'm going to throw it at this fella here,
Just hit. So you see the Zalezos moving
so I
forward.
don't get.
You don't get the +2 rage bonus on top of your already 8 damage, because to get the rage bonus for the melee attack, you actually have to use the javelin as a melee weapon. Because when you throw it, it counts as a ranged attack. So you rush forward, seeing the Zalezos approaching that goblin, and you go, "It's all about that money, baby." And you let that fire that's within you, you let it free, and it engulfs you, powering your movement as you take the javelin and you chuck it forward, flying past the trees expertly thrown, piercing the goblin, sending it to the ground with a "Gip!" It's like hits the ground, motionless, dead. The Sergeant Miles looks over. Well done. Well, I guess we'll keep moving left then.
And then I want to continue. 15. I'm going to be right there. That ends that's my speed. So.
All right. You rush forward, heading towards the group of civilians. You see you charging your way, and in the background you see 4 goblins, currently with their crossbows out, but you do see short swords, and then you see what looks to be like a leader in the back, readying for your approach. And with that, we go back to the top of the round for the goblins. The one that you have charmed, it seems to be torn. It wants to see where you're going. I mean, obviously you're going to take it somewhere neat or exciting. I mean, after all, you are his friend. But the boss said he's got to kill. Got to kill everyone here. So he's freely following you, although he's not going to move this turn because he's waiting for you to direct him. So he's going to hold his action to just follow along with you. These other goblins are going to take up a more aggressive approach, seeing the Zalezo getting ready to move forward. They're going to switch to their crossbows, and they're going to take shots. Flurry of crossbow bolts soar into the air, 4 come crashing down. One of them hits a guard in the leg and he doubles over. He goes, "Gah!" So he takes a crossbow bolt to the leg here. Then another one flies past him, hitting a soldier in the shoulder, and he doubles back, almost dropping his polearm, but he toughens up and gets ready to move forward regardless. Then another one flies through, barely scraping across his arm, leaving a shallow cut that we're not doing as much. And the last crossbow bolt packs into the ground, missing completely. These goblins in the back, hearing the command to fire again, are going to shoot another volley of crossbow bolts. They'll take a step forward, and then 2 of them are going to shoot at you, Vimac. So the 9's not going to hit, and then the 22 is going to hit. So one of the crossbows falls short. You look at that one, and then while you're busy looking at that one, another one flies in, and it pierces you just in the bicep, but not penetrating in too deep, and you manage to rip that one out of your bicep. It does 5 damage. So with your rage being up, that 5 damage gets reduced to 2. Doing that one. The other 2 goblins are going to shoot on the civilians that are still running away. First one misses completely, but the second one manages to fly over, hitting one in the back of the head as he falls over dead. The 2 that were going to attack the goblin that you charmed are going to ignore it. Alright, men, form ranks. Move forward. So you see them take formation. Ready. They lunge forward with their spears. The spears get blocked, parried away, although one winds up managing to pierce through, sticking a goblin in the leg. It pushes it back away, but it's still standing.
I am use chromatic orb. Can I do it on the leader goblin?
Alright, so you take out your arcane focus and you hold it forward before yourself and you channel your power into it before the crackling arcane energy transforms into lightning magic itself, and it shoots forward. Although the distance it travels, the goblin boss sees it incoming and manages to jump out of the way before it makes impact, slamming into the ground next to it. And it glares at you with a vengeful scowl.
Does that go through?
Yeah.
Oh, there
It
it goes.
went through.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna go after that guy.
That one, okay. You run up, loading in another crossbow bolt as you do, and you crouch to take aim, you fire, bypassing Vimac and the fleeing civilians, and the crossbow bolt heads towards that goblin, and it tries to jump out of the way, but before it does, the crossbow bolt lands, piercing it through the thigh as it doubles over. Ah!
Can I sheathe my rapier and pull out my short bow for this turn? Is that okay?
Yeah, what I've decided with switching weapons, as long as they're on your body, that just takes your bonus action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
use your bonus
All right,
action
then
to
I'm gonna go
change
ahead and-
weapons. So you rush forward, emerging from the tree line, darting from tree to tree, before sliding out of cover and loosing one of your arrows. It flies past, smacking it straight in the chest, sending it back, collapsing to the ground with a shout as it collapses dead.
Oh, sweet.
Woohoo, 30 gold.
Alright, William. You're up next. You got the goblin in tow, ready to follow you.
Okay, I'm gonna run up to Mavelin, holding the goblin's hand. As I approach Mavelin, I'm going to try to kind of, since I can't speak goblin, I'm gonna kind of insinuate like, "Hey, this is a friend right here. Don't attack," to the goblin, so the goblin doesn't attack her, And I don't get Mavelin. I'm saying, Mavelin, listen, I need you to translate, and I need you to ask him what he knows about this attack and any future attacks. We need to know what their plans are.
Now the best time for chit chat, Lord William.
Goblin could give us information that could help us out right now and in the future.
And give me 100 gold.
100 gold.
Okay. All right, I'll have a chat with the goblin, I guess.
Alright, so what do you say to the goblin?
Hello, my friend. Is there any way you can help us understand what's happening here?
So the goblin looks at you, looks over at William, looks over at you, looks over at William. Before responding back, it basically says, as you try to roughly translate its language into, "We've come to attack, kidnap as many as we could, finish off the rest before we double back to our base."
Can I just assume that she translates that to me right away?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask her, where's their base? Ask them where the base is.
The goblin just points off into the jungle.
Yeah, about their leader. What does he know about the leader?
He's a real asshole. He goes, he's had us hiding out in that stupid temple for a couple months now. All we know is we were sent out here to cause a distraction, grab some people, and bring them back to the temple.
Distraction for what? Like, what was the distraction for?
So he looks at you. Now, charm person is not complete control over their mind. He just treats you as a friend. So seeing you starting to ask too many questions, especially some more detailed questions, he looks at you and just shakes his head. You can make a persuasion check if you want to try to persuade him.
Yeah, I'll try to persuade him.
Pushing it, William. He's very close to a good group of us. Oh, damn. Oh,
All
shit.
So, sorry, William, I forgot the question you wanted to ask him.
What was this distraction for? What else is going on that they needed a distraction for?
So, seeing the sincerity in your eyes, even though there's a language barrier between the two of you, he sees, you're not with them, but how could he leave you out of the mix? I mean, he's feeling really torn, but he decides to let you know. So he says, we planned on taking out the Marquis and sowing as much discord as we could to try to get them to blame the Kryn dynasty for this. It's all part of our plan.
With that, I'm going to smile at him, and I point out at the water, like out this way.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Yep.
Tell him to look out that way, and then I'm going to stab him in the back of the skull with a rapier.
All right, but as you do and you step forward, you stumble a little bit, and the rapier misses, and he turns to see you, and this sudden realization of horror plays over his face. He goes, "My friend would do this to me," internally, and you realize that the charm spell probably wore off now because of that. And he growls at you and he readies his weapon. Goblin boss is gonna.
Probably use that hand vector by Mac. But
Oh man. So Goblin boss is gonna shout, seeing its goblin buddies getting taken out. They're gonna pull back, and then what he's gonna do is he's gonna force them forward. And they're gonna come in like this. They're gonna move their dead guy out of the way. Like that. There we go. Using them as a literal meat shield, seeing that they were getting shot.
Realizing that not everybody in our crew is as much of a warrior as myself. Draw out my great sword. Do I get advantage since?
If you move here, I'll let you have advantage. All right, 15 just manages to hit. You see this little goblin glaring at William, and William's like trying to push him back, and Maybelline's even helping keeping him from stabbing William on his sword as he's maliciously lashing out at him. He's been betrayed by what he once thought was his friend, and you just walk up behind and you take your great sword and you just cleave diagonally across it, splitting in half as it falls over. Using their hostages as cover, seeing Finian take out one of their own, they're gonna all three focus fire on Finian. I'll say, Finian, because you're near the tree line and that rock there, I'm going to give you a partial cover. I think with that +2 AC, yeah. So 2 of them fly past through the tree line, missing you. The third one seems to be on target for hitting you, but before it does, you manage to duck down behind one of the nearby rocks, and it cracks against the rock before it manages to hit you. You see a flurry of spear thrusts go forward as they maintain their line position, and they manage to cut down 2 of the goblins. Then after they do that, they shift their positions. We'll hold them off. We'll clear the way. Get out of here while you still can.
Take a shot with my longbow.
All right, now, with your current position, with those civilians in front of them, you're going to have a high chance. Yeah, you're going to have a real high chance of hitting them.
Can't I just yell duck?
I mean, you can definitely yell duck and shoot, but it may not turn out the way you're thinking.
holding them as human shields.
Pretty much,
meat
yeah.
shields.
Using them as meat shields.
They're not going to be able to duck if someone's holding on to them like that.
Can I take a shot at this guy then?
All right, so you shoot across the foot of the lake, and unfortunately, you're pretty well trained archer, but it's just a little too far out. And as the arrow sails over, one of the Zelazo guards see an arrow pass the goblin, head towards him, and he barely manages to raise his shield in time, and it splinters across his shield, and he says, "Hey, watch it over there!"
I am going to lay my hands on Velak, and I am going to cast Guidance.
If I make you feel an unfamiliar surge of energy go through you, and you feel yourself with an enhanced ability.
Hey, sometimes that helps. That little extra D4 helps.
Hey, I'm good for it.
Going to move here. Nope. Here. And take aim at this guy with my short bow.
You slide out of cover once again, darting to the other side of the tree. You slide forward and fire. The goblin that you're aiming at sees you maneuver, and it tries to maneuver its meat shield forward to try to intercept, but before it does, you anticipated it, shooting just past him. A little bit of his shirt gets torn from the arrow as it pierces into the goblin, and it falls over to the ground dead, letting out a yelp of pain as it dies.
Cunning action, so I want to take a bonus action and use dash back over.
You slide back in behind some more cover behind the tree as you dart back across.
I'm gonna cast Vicious Mockery. I'm just gonna say your parents would be awfully ashamed of you.
So as
I don't know, I didn't have time to put a good one.
As you cast out that magic, your voice travels over the battlefield across the uproar of pain and shouts of battle. The goblin boss hears it, the magic arcane aura translates it for you, and it hits deep inside of its mind, and it thinks back to when it was born as a young goblin, its life, how it strived to meet its parents' expectations, and hearing that, a sudden surge of insecurity sweeps over it, and it screams out, lashing about, yelling at its subordinates, and it takes 3 points of psychic damage. But after hearing that insult and realizing it can't let its parents down, he orders the goblins to move forward, corralling the captives ahead by one as he starts pushing everybody forward, commanding them to charge. Because he's angry at you, so he takes out a javelin rather than taking his safe position. He's going to throw a javelin towards you in a fit of rage with disadvantage because of the Vicious Mockery. It rushes forward, even though it's shaken by what you said. It takes its javelin out and it hurls it across the battlefield, and you're surprised that it rushed out at you so quickly, and the javelin manages to pierce through your arm, not stabbing into it, but does 4 points of piercing damage. Okay. So as you rush forward, you take out your javelin and you attempt to throw it, but it grabs one of the people as a shield, and you hesitate, throwing it off center so that way you can avoid hitting the person, and it misses the goblin boss. They're both going to shoot at Vimac, seeing that he's closest. You see 2 arrow crossbow bolts head towards you, so you jump and duck behind a tree as they both crack harmlessly against the tree, avoiding you completely. Oh, another natural 20. Oh, man. Alright, so in a fit of rage, being cornered and backed up against the wall, you see 2 of the goblins let out a battle cry. They lunge forward for the 2 guards in front of them, and the first one cuts down a Zelazar guard, and you hear him scream out in pain before he drops to the ground, taking a couple of stabs to the chest before he stops moving. The other one cleaves across him as he falls to the ground, blood pouring everywhere. Still conscious, still alive, but in a lot of trouble. So we go to the Zelazar guards. Miles, seeing one of his men fall, he's going to say, "Let's take them down before we lose anyone else." And I think for the sake of time, I think with the 4 of them rolling with advantage, yeah, they're done. So they just get stabbed down in a flurry of stabs from the spears. And as they do, they usher the civilians that they've got, and they start making their way out.
I'm gonna move here and take another shot at the homeboy with my longbow.
So you run forward, drawing your bow, aiming at the goblin boss, and you loose your arrow. It sees it coming for you. Seeing one of its goblin subordinates, it's gonna grab him and throw him in the way, and he's gonna use his redirect attack to throw him instead, so he takes the damage in his place. So you rush forward, seeing that there's still hostages in front of you, so you hold off on your attack.
But
I'm going to attack this guy, that goblin, and I'm going to switch weapons with I'm going to attack him with my rapier.
Gotcha. Alright, you come rushing out of the tree line with your rapier, and you get ready to stab forward, but one of the goblins slips around and manages to just barely duck out of the way as it misses.
I'm going to run up.
Yeah, so you rush in forward, and you ready your rapier, and you see the goblin boss snarl at you, and momentary sensation of fear sweeps over you. This is a very new experience for you, being in what is practically the middle of a battlefield, and as you stab forward, it parries your rapier out of the way.
Well, before I end my turn, use inspiration on Vimac.
And it draws a large squared blade, looking very roughly made. It doesn't seem like too good of a equipment, and it's going to take a multi-attack against you. So the first one, it's 21 to hit. So it sweeps off, cutting you across the stomach, and you feel the blade cut, leaving a not too large of a gash across you. You feel the blood begin to pour down, and it's a very traumatic feeling, as this is the first time you've ever been maliciously attacked by such a creature. With even the lowest of that is 22, so with its second sweep, it comes back around, cleaving down, back across, making an X on your chest. This one much deeper, doing 8 points of damage to you. So as the second cut comes crashing down over William, you see him falter a little bit before he just rocks back and falls to the ground, and you hear the goblin captain start to
draw my great sword, and do I get to use advantage?
No, because Bieber is unconscious. He's not contesting him anymore.
He's still looking at him.
I don't think he is.
So I can roll 1d6.
Yeah, you can roll. Now what you can do is you can roll. And so like that's kind of a low roll. So before I tell you if that hits or not, you can add your 1d6 to it to see if you can get a better score out of that. You come cleaving down the man who just inspired you unconscious, and now you're starting to worry a little bit, and that worry makes you miss. As the blade comes crashing down, the goblin boss manages to jump back. One's going to make an attack on you, Vimac, and the other's going to make an attack on you, Finian. The blade comes streaking across your chest, and you raise your greatsword to kind of deflect it a little bit, but it still makes impact, dealing 4 damage to you, and that's counting the reduced, so take 4 damage on that one. So the one on you, Finian, the goblin sees you coming over, and it slashes out, but you use your rapier and you parry it out of the way before it makes impact. Alright, the first one goes wide, misses completely. Second one goes wide, misses completely. Third one goes wide, misses completely.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
Pick these things up, so, meh.
Yeah.
Typical roll 20.
These guards practice?
Yeah, they're good with spears. They're not so good with crossbows, apparently.
I guess not.
Miles says,
This
alright,
is
men.
Typical roll 20 for sure.
Yeah, hell yeah, it is. Alright, let's get reloaded. The rest of you, get them out of here. And actually, I'm going to make a retroactive moment. I just completely forgot about the other guy. Forgot about Sergeant, or Private Drake. He's gonna make up for that lost time. Because this is what he would have been doing. So he's gonna stand over, try to protect William to the best of his ability, and he's gonna make a spear attack. I'm gonna say add advantage, because that's technically a flank. Because I did completely forget about him, so I just retroacted his move speed for those turns. Even with that, he lunges forward, and the goblin boss deflects it out of the way. These guards are sucking. Yeah, they're sucking real bad. Alright, so the dagger comes down, and as it does, were you attacking the boss or the regular goblin?
Boss.
Alright, so as you come down, it sees you coming in with the dagger, and it weaves out of the way, being pretty nimble. It manages to dodge out of the way, unfortunately.
Yes, this is why we
This is
brought in
exactly
the
why we
cleric.
brought in the
Thank
cleric.
God. Yeah.
So with that bonus too, you drop down, place your hands over when you feel radiant sunlight emit, and it glows, almost blinding in how intense the light is, and the cross X slash on his chest recedes a bit, and William, you blink, coming back to consciousness weakly with 11 health total. You come back with 11 health. You lunge in with the rapier, and the goblin holds up its crudely made sword to deflect it. And as you do, you use that opening to slide around him with your dagger up into the ribcage, and you feel the blade sink in. And surprising, you suddenly switch to a dual-wielding stance it wasn't prepared for it, and you feel blood pour onto your hand as it falls over dead.
Well played.
Are y'all just hearing cha-ching, cha-ching as you take these down?
I don't think I've heard of cha-ching yet.
So I'm going to use the bonus action first and use that potion. And that gets me up to max health. I'm going to pull out a piece of parchment. I say, as you can see right here, I have a note from your parents saying that they wish that I wish that I was their son instead of you. Speak You hit like a sissy girl.
My God.
So as you go through with this, your arcane magic enhances your words, but this time it manages to shake it off, unaffected by your words, only getting more enraged. Goblin Boss is up next. Seeing you get back on your feet, and the first thing you do is insult him, he's gonna roar out and take 2 slashes against you again. It's 20 to hit, doing 4 damage as he comes in a little off-kilter and just barely manages to graze across your leg. And he's going to come in with the backswing. This time, you see it coming in, you're ready for the backswing. It's not taking you by surprise, and you manage to step out of the way, dodging it before it hits you. The Goblin Boss looks around you, looks around himself, seeing that he's starting to get surrounded, and is starting to panic.
And I get to add +2 to that damage.
+2 to the damage, alright. So
I'm
you...
still...
Yeah.
Yeah, are you going for the Goblin Boss?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so you raise your greatsword into the air, and you let out a mighty roar, and as you do, the Goblin Boss turns around, seeing the blade incoming. He's going to use his redirect attack
Lame.
reaction, and he's going to push the other goblin
Lame.
into the way of the blade. And as you do, you just cleave the goblin in half, and the Goblin Boss barely manages to slip out of way in time as the other goblin gets cut in two. The Goblin Boss is now extremely panicked, realizing it's the last one standing. Hostages it had, seeing their chance, they're going to sprint away. Now that the goblins are dead, they're going to start making their way out of there.
Because my action was going to be like, to look at those guys and be like, what the freak is
Yeah.
that? Run!
They don't need any hints. They're getting the heck out of there. Alright. So as it buckles over from getting stabbed by the spear, you come in with your dagger trying to do a double strike. But it manages to roll out of the way in time, barely making it through, and it struggles to get back to its feet, blood pouring from a couple of the wounds that it suffered. And it's really starting to panic as it just glances around between all of you.
Going up here. And I am going to use my bonus action to switch to my mace. And I am going to make an attack. That's it. It rolled a 0.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It rolled a 0.
So you come lumbering over with your mace and you raise it into the air, and as you do, you trip over the fallen corpse of the goblin that's underneath you, and you just fall face first. You just fall face first.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah, that's about right.
You do manage to get back to your feet, though. You're not stuck in prone, but you miss completely.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Damn, yes.
Alright, let's see here. Yep, alright, so Finian, you rush in, sliding behind Vimac, coming up from the rear. The Goblin Boss frantically looking around, you see an opening, and you come in with your rapier and your dagger. Finian, how do you want to do this? So you rush in behind.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. It's kind of a little side thing I do in case people want to describe like some cool epic thing. So that's what I mean when I say how do you want to do this. But it is cool if you don't want to do it. So you just slide in behind, you take your rapier and your dagger, you slash across its hamstring, making the Goblin Boss collapse back to its knee, and as it does, it turns to face you, and you take your rapier and you stab it forward, piercing it through the skull, out the back, and it collapses back, lunging forward and dropping dead. Take a deep exhale as you look around in the chaos that had ensued, seeing all the dead corpses strewn about. Sergeant Miles and the last 3 Zillizo guards that accompanied him, they all drop those useless crossbows to the ground. Looking at forward, and they see the Goblin Boss, you all look at the destruction unfolding and can only wonder what kind of destruction is unfolding underway at the actual city. And with that, we're going to close out tonight, because I think that's a good stopping point with